Welcome to one of the many circle sessions hosted by Wonder Girls. Wonder Girls is a nationwide classrooms movement. We bring relatable female role models into classroom settings through our circle sessions. As you will see, the crux of these sessions is its dialogic nature. We're currently working with classrooms across 7 Indian cities and continuing to grow. Our aim is for every adolescent in India to have access to relatable female role models. I welcome you once again and hope you enjoy learning from our role models' life journey and career path.
Hi, Urmi. We lost
Hi, I'm
you
so
when you were.
sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I think there is some connectivity issue. Yeah.
Okay. No,
So
it's fine. Just
I
one, one,
started.
one thing which I want to say. I'm going to record this session. Is that fine?
Sure,
Sure.
sure. So I started. Is it English okay?
Yeah, it's perfectly fine. Yes.
Uh, so I started my journey in fitness actually through sports, and I was just 12 years old, and I started playing basketball, which I really fell in love with the sport. And what actually helped me stay consistent or stay motivated and stay true to the sport was because I realized that sport has so much more rather than just pure fitness and just like maintaining your weight or just as a play, because when you are into sports, it develops character so much because you learn how to take losses in your stride, you learn how to take rejections, you learn how to take a bad day at your game. So that completely helps you to look at difficulties and obstacles as part of life rather than something that just happened to you. And I think that really helped me to develop my mental strength, mental resilience. And it also helped me become better at studies because I was able to really separate studies and sports, where I was like, I'm going to study well so I can go and play. So it sort of became like my routine, where I made it a point that I would complete my homework, I would complete my learning for the day so that I could go and play without any worries. So that sort of helped me really balance it out and brought my personality out as well. And as a kid, I'm quite an introvert in that sense, if I have to talk about my personal life. But when it came to sports, or when it came to go on the stage, it really helped me with my confidence, because I knew I was able to be myself completely rather than worry about what other people were going to think. So that's how my journey started, where the benefits were way beyond just fitness and play. And then I have just moved on from there to, I was playing all along in school. Then in college I also was playing, doing kickboxing. And then from there I moved on to doing shamak dawa dance. So throughout my fitness journey, the main thing has been to learn. Like, I love learning new things. And what I would really tell everyone else who is looking to make change in their life, a positive change or a positive development in any area of your life or any area of your academics, is to work on your personal growth as well. And sport really helps you in developing your mental wellness, your physical fitness as well. And don't look at the role of sports as something very short term only in school. That's something that's going to help you get better at extracurricular activities, but this benefit from sport will help you in your life throughout. So look at it as a long term journey and really try to enjoy it, which means just because Urmi took basketball doesn't mean you need to love basketball, but try to go and try different types of sports, maybe swimming or cricket or lagori or kho, or there are so many indigenous sports as well, which actually are so much fun. So to go, do not settle for something that you don't enjoy. Like, really try to enjoy the sport, and you will see that it gives you so much more joy, and you're able to translate that happiness into other areas of your life as well. And then you will be able to study better, your focus will be a lot better, your stamina during the day, your energy levels during the day will be better. And you will see that as you grow older, the importance of fitness becomes just more and more. It never reduces. So that's how I've lived my life. And I was a fitness freak up until my MBA, and then after that, I realized that that was not my cup of tea in terms of I didn't want to become a corporate slave, and that's when I quit my job and I went to Kerala where I studied martial art and dance, and again I took it up as a career. So that's how I started Kinetic Living once I retired as a dancer, and now I'm a fitness coach. I'm an energy coach, which means that I have really worked to apply whatever I've learned in my life. Like I said, mindful fitness, like really focus on the quality of your movements rather than focusing on just, working out for losing calories or playing a sport just for extra credit in your academics, right? Do something that you really mean and you really enjoy. And I even as a coach, I every day is an attempt and is a quest to make people experience the joy of moving and the joy of working out and the joy of pushing their bodies a little bit more than what they were doing the day before. And you see the joy on their faces, you see them progress, and for me that gives the most satisfaction in my job. And that is why I focus a lot on quality of movement, like I said, preventing injuries and really helping people in the long term rather than just promising them weight loss and then selling my brand. So that's why the way the workouts are programmed is programmed from Pilates, yoga, kettlebell training, weight training, body weight training, running, and it's all geared to help you in a holistic manner. And that's why it helps you achieve your best potential, and that's why it's called Kinetic Living, because we want you to make movement a part of your life rather than just as a fitness goal. So I tell my students that if you are fit from within, good looks is a side effect. So that's the philosophy of Kinetic Living.
That's great. Thank you for your introduction. Students, what I'll do, I will share my screen, and then it's just a text. It's not necessary that you should only look at these questions, but it's just for you to recollect what questions you have had before, which you discussed with your teachers. And yeah, you can go ahead and ask whatever questions comes to your mind to me now. Okay.
So are they going to ask in the chat box or?
They'll just interact directly. Let's see if it works, how it works. Yeah. You
Sure,
can
sure.
ask, Soumya, you can probably ask your question and then we can move one after another.
Ma'am?
Yes, go
Yes.
ahead, Soumya.
Hi.
Hello, ma'am.
How are you
Ma'am, what
doing?
inspired? Ma'am, I'm good, ma'am. You, ma'am?
I'm very good. Thank you.
Ma'am, what inspired you to become a fitness coach, ma'am?
So basically, I did a lot of different types of certifications. I first really enjoyed Pilates when I was a dancer. So I certified myself in Pilates, which is basically teaches you the different exercises and also the different muscles. Then I studied in kettlebell. So in order to become a fitness coach, the base level, like just how you have to complete your 12th standard in order to do any degree, you have to do something called as a CPT, which is a certified personal trainer course. So basically that teaches you about the human body, the different energy systems in the human body, what are the different types of fitness components like strength, endurance, how do you program a workout program. So it covers all of that in theory as well as practical. And then depending on what you enjoy, you can do certification. So after I finished that, I did like Pilates, kettlebell, trampoline. I've studied like different skill sets. And that's one of the reasons that today I'm in terms of I'm able to use all different disciplines in one integrated format.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome.
Okay. I think the second question has been answered by ma'am along with the first question. We'll go to the third question, which is from Bhagya. Bhagya, you want to ask?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Ma'am, have you faced any difficult, ma'am, in your journey? Because it is a different profession, no, ma'am.
Because of what?
Uh,
Profession.
because this is a different profession, not a usual one taken by.
Yeah.
So, have you
Hmm.
faced any difficulty?
So I was very lucky, and I'm still very lucky that my parents were extremely supportive when I decided to become a professional dancer as well. And even when I wanted to become a professional fitness coach, there was a lot of support from home. That is one thing that helped me face all the other difficulties um, with moral support. And in terms of difficulties, I would say that people, up until very recently, I started fitness coaching 9 years ago. So that time, fitness trainer was still looked at as a blue collar job, and people don't respect that profession. Even now, people look at a fitness coach as just a trainer who is just there to make them work out. They don't value the role of the fitness coach as someone who can guide them in their daily life, and that's why they're not even willing to uh, uh, give them enough, I can say, credibility or money as well in terms of payment. So when I say difficulties, I can say that the perception of the job or the profession is not as prestigious as, like, for example, that you would say you're a banker or you're into some IT profession. Second, I would say that because the industry is not very regulated, it is very easy for fake people and for people who have very superficial knowledge to start talking about it, and people just look at their weight loss journey and think that they can take advice from those kind of people. But it's not true, because what can work for one body may not be working for the other body. So that's why you need to know the science behind this, rather than just looking at someone's weight loss transformation. And I think the another difficulty that I faced is it just that the pie of the business is now becoming very, very large, but in relation to other industries, it's still smaller. And there's a very, very small percent of people who are still working out on a regular basis. So instead of looking at this as a difficulty, I would look at it as an opportunity to really penetrate into the population. And that means there is so much potential for fitness as a profession to not only grow, but even for us to grow together as a community. And yeah, I think another difficulty again is something that is based on your personality and temperament, that it is not a physically easy job, which means you may have to train 6 7 people during the day, or you may have to take 5 6 batches during the day. But you have to also then spend a good time to train yourself. Like, you can't be doing workouts with the students. If you keep doing workouts with every student, then you're not going to be able to guide them properly, and B, you're going to get really tired. So in this one, your motivation needs to be also on point, which means you have to practice what you preach, otherwise it will be seen. And I think that's a great thing, because that really makes sure that you are genuine in what you're doing. Yeah, I think that's about it.
Sure. Thank you. What's Vishnu? Your question? You want to read it out?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
What is the relationship between physical fitness and the mind?
So what happens is that I will tell you physiologically what happens first is, when you exercise, the body releases endorphins. Endorphins are your happy hormones, and uh, they light up the reward centers in your brain, which means you're gonna feel really happy and good about it. So that is why, first of the most obvious advantage of on the mind when you do physical fitness is that it is really good for your mental wellness, your sense of feeling good. It improve, and the moment you feel happy and you feel good, your ability to look at things and life positively increases. Then like I said, physical fitness helps you push yourself physically little by little in small increments, and that helps you strengthen your mind as well. It helps you strengthen your willpower as well, but at the same time it also helps you stay connected with your body. And when I say connected with your body, I mean you're really able to build self awareness as the next step after physical fitness. You become aware of your posture as well, and believe it or not, even the way you sit, it has a big impact on your breathing. And what connects the mind and the body is the breath. So when you, for example, when you're if you're slouched all day, it restricts your rib cage, and that over a long period of time compromises your ability to breathe fully. And when you do not breathe fully, your it basically affects this connection between mind and body, and that's where you feel lethargic, you may feel tired, you may feel the inability to focus, you may feel depressed, you may feel demotivated to do things. So, and then you are sort of silencing your inner body's intelligence.
Cool.
Thank you, ma'am.
Next question, Mohit, you had a question.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
What is the role of nutrition in being fit?
It's like if you own a Mercedes, would you fuel the Mercedes with gasoline? No, right? You want to give good quality fuel. The same way, look at your body as a very, very sophisticated piece of creation in this universe, right? We are still born from nature. It's just because we are living in four walls of concrete doesn't mean that we are separate from nature. That means we must eat what is naturally occurring in on this planet rather than eating processed food. So that is why role of nutrition is extremely important in being fit. Let's say even if you can eat junk and you can get away with it, you will be able to get away with only for a shorter period of time, because sooner or later you'll realize that you have no energy. And I follow the 80-20 principle, where you eat healthy nutrition 80% of the time, and 20% of the time you can eat your treats or whatever little processed food you feel like eating, you can eat that. That way you maintain a balance.
Okay. Next question. Kirti, Kirti has an interesting question. She wants some simple exercises to decrease weight.
So I would say that do not look at decreasing weight. Look at becoming stronger. That's what we even talk about it at Kinetic Living. We do not use the word weight loss. It's a taboo in Kinetic Living, simply because when you promote fitness as a means for weight loss, you are limiting people's potential. You are limiting the way people would enjoy fitness rather than they would punish themselves to lose weight. And let's say if they work out and they don't lose weight, they are going to judge themselves. So look at, how can I build strength? How can I improve my stamina? How can I walk up the stairs 8 floors every single day? If you are able to set some performance goals, can I run 5 kilometers in less than 30 minutes? All these are ways and performance goals that will automatically help you stay consistent. And you will see that if you're eating well, if your nutrition is on point, then your weight will automatically go. Like I said, good looks is a side effect. And do not let weight determine how you feel about your looks, okay? Because weight is a very simple thing. It's something that you do right and you will get it. But if your mental wellness and if you're constantly judging your body while doing all of that, I can guarantee you will not be able to sustain it. How to gain weight in a controlled way depending on age, Bhavani. So how to gain weight in a controlled way. So you need to exercise if you're not able to gain weight, you need to exercise, but along with that, you need to eat complex carbohydrates and protein. And which means you're gonna be eating a good amount of calories, but all these calories are coming from natural foods. Then you can eat banana, chiku, all of these fruits help you, which are calorie dense, and they help you put on weight without harming your body. And when you say controlled way, that's a good way to ask it. So you can eat, do not work out on empty stomach.
Ma'am,
What is the, yeah.
ma'am, what is the motivation to get up early and do exercise, ma'am?
So if you're not a morning person, do not fret yourself to do exercise in the morning. It is not necessarily that you have to finish exercise in the morning. You can do exercise at any time of the day, depending on how your body feels and where you feel the most energetic. So for example, like I do not like waking up early in the morning and exercising, and I don't even wake up very early. I wake up at 8:39, and I like to generally work out around at this time between 3 and 5 o'clock, or between 4 and 6 o'clock. That's my favorite time to work out. So trust me, it's about how your body feels. And if you're already feeling energetic, you'll already be motivated to wake up.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Welcome.
Ma'am, people eat so many protein powders to get muscles, ma'am. Is it recommended, ma'am?
I would say no, because you only eat protein powders if at all you're not able to meet your protein requirement from your natural food. And you guys are kids till up until at least you go in college, up until you're 24, 25. Try to get protein from natural food. So if you're a non-vegetarian, you can eat meat, you can eat fish, you can eat eggs. And if you're a vegetarian, you can eat paneer, tofu, sprouts, dal rice together. They both together are assimilated as protein. You can eat chickpea, you can eat lentils. All of these are high in protein.
Kusuma, you want to go?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Ma'am, you teach meditation. Its effects some same in person and online.
That's a good question. The thing is that it also depends on the kind of connection we have with that person. So for example, if I were to do a meditation session with a stranger who I've met for the first time, it will only work really well if they are also inclined to do meditation. If at all they are doing it for the first time, where they're trying to build a practice of meditation, then I would want to make sure that I'm doing a video call, because then they can hear me, they can see me, and I can see them. But of course, in person, the energy is very different. You can feel them a lot more. So I would say, if at all you can do in person, that's the best. But doing online is better than not doing it at all. Did you face any
Thank
problem
you,
in
ma'am.
this profession because of your gender? So because of so I just answered this question today, this morning, to another interview, in fact, is that it's all in our heads, right? There anyway, so in other people's heads, you cannot control what kind of social conditioning that they might be coming with. Maybe they are used to seeing women not in a fitness coach kind of a profession, but that doesn't mean that I have to change the way I am acting or the way what I am doing. Because if at all I let their social conditioning, or if I let their opinions affect my behavior, that means I am actually taking what they are thinking in my head. So if at all I have never thought about myself as a woman or a man, and whether in terms of doing certain tasks at my work, I look at tasks as to be done, and it doesn't matter if it's a man doing it or a woman doing it. And that is why anywhere I go, I do not differentiate between who am I teaching. And if it's not there in my head, it always shows in my actions, because I will go for something that I know I can do. So then automatically people will start perceiving you as the who you are, rather than looking at you as a woman or a man. And even if, let's say hypothetically, they say that, oh, you're a girl and you're doing this, so you can, if it's not in your head, your answer will be, yeah, so what, I've done it already. Or yeah, so what, I will try it anyway. And that's how you shatter people's perceptions. You cannot shatter people's perceptions by or break people's perceptions by doing what they think you should do. So don't look at other people's opinions. Everyone says you go to the gym, you should not stop, else you will gain too much weight. It's not true at all. What happens is, when you go to the gym, you are building muscles. Okay, muscle needs more calories at rest, which means your metabolism will go up and your appetite may increase slightly. But how you continue to look healthier is because when your appetite increases, you eat the healthier foods. Now, when you stop going to the gym, your appetite doesn't drop immediately. Your appetite still stays as it is. So if you start consuming a lot more food than what you're actually burning, then whatever the excess food that you're eating will start getting converted to fat, and it will form a layer around the muscles. And because you're not working out, you will lose the muscles. So the muscle never gets turned into fat. The muscle gets a layer of fat on top. And then because you don't work out, the muscle will atrophy, because the body follows a simple rule of use it or lose it. So if you don't exercise, your muscle definition and your muscles will become smaller, or they will atrophy, we call it in technical terms. So that is why you feel like you have put on weight, because your body will lose definition and then you will look chubby. So it's not true at all that just because you stop gym you're going to gain weight. It is about how you eat it, and it's about uh, what are your food habits. How do I get a six pack? Six pack is a function of body fat in your body, which means six packs doesn't come to people who exercise. The visual of the six pack is already there in your body as the shape of the muscle. Now once you melt the fat around it, you can see the design. So that means just because you have six packs doesn't mean that you have strong abs. Remember that. Second is, if you want to lose the fat around your midsection, you need to do a combination of strength training and cardio. And you need to make sure that your food is absolutely on point and you're eating on time as well. You have to eat your meals on time. And that means you consume food that is no fried, no cakes and biscuits, no sugar. You can cheat maybe just once in 10-15 days, that also very less, because your journey to six packs is also dependent on your hormonal health, your fitness, your age, your fitness background, um your whether you're male or female. It has many factors. How long have you been coaching in the coaching space? I've been in the coaching space since 2012. What would be your advice to us for choosing a career path? I think I answered this in the beginning, but if you have any specific question for this, then you can ask me.
Right. I think we can move to the next question. So what's your take on
What
academics?
is your take on academics? And good question. I think academics is definitely important. You should not undermine the value of education. You should not undermine the value and the experience that a school setting can provide you, because that also teaches you discipline in many ways, provided you can take it in that way. Also, academics helps you, it challenges you mentally, but I feel the where its importance is, I can say it's the value and its importance is heavily influenced by the teachers themselves, and it's also heavily influenced by the application value of the academic. So I really feel honestly that in my school, I was also taught about saving, or I was taught about how to manage my finances, or in school, I was taught different skill sets that I later on realized that I didn't have. So how do I, for example, go about doing research on a subject? right? So these are some things, or how do I communicate more effectively, right? Like communication is something that's not taught in school when children are growing up, and they are just being told to do things without explaining the why behind it. So I feel like if academics can really bring that why behind the things, then people and students will be more driven, and they will be a lot more knowledgeable as to why they are studying what they are studying. Some tips to incorporate kinetic living in your day-to-day life. Excellent question. I can say is at your school level, definitely start by finding even 15 to 20 minutes of your day in order to dedicate it to any kind of physical movement, something that you enjoy. So if you haven't found what you enjoy, then try different things and then see what you really like. Second is stop eating junk food and just substitute that with whatever home food is made, and do not worry about the proportion that you're eating right now, because you're kids, you're growing, your body needs so many different nutrients. You don't need to worry about weight. So definitely try to eat food that's not coming out of a packet. Third thing I can say is invest some time in learning, which means learning something that's outside of your school, which means you can either watch a YouTube video, you can either sign up for a fun workshop, you can do like a different hobby class. So do something that's not related to academics. And lastly, I would say that connect with nature. I think that's what we've lost as a generation, is that the only source of entertainment right now is TV or malls. That is also because of COVID, it's less. I think go to the beaches, go to the parks, go to your rooftop and enjoy the sunlight, and travel. I think urge your family to travel wherever you can, in whatever budget you have. It can be just simple traveling to Gateway of India and coming back, or going to Alsur Lake and coming back. It can be a very small outing, but connect with nature as much as you can. And I think the last thing I would say is the way you can incorporate kinetic living is try to enjoy learning, and try to enjoy learning also in different physical forms. Like maybe you're interested in track and field, maybe you're interested in badminton or tennis or cricket or any kind of sport, or you're interested in MMA, you're interested in boxing, or interested in dancing. But if you do it, then pursue it really well, like give it your best. Yeah, I think that's it.
Cool. Yeah, thank you very much. Any questions after this talk? If you want to ask, you can ask now, students. Anybody has any pressing questions just not covered till now? Girish, you have raised the hand. Yeah, you can go ahead and ask.
Ma'am, some people say if you fat, you want to leave rice, ma'am. It is very. You want to
Sorry?
leave rice, ma'am. Ma'am, we are fat. Some people tell, ma'am, you want to leave the rice because rice is very fatness. It will give, ma'am.
So remember that no natural food that's occurring in nature can make you fat without you eating either too much of it, or eating um, it in at the wrong time. So white rice or brown rice or Kerala rice, whichever rice that you're eating, eat it with your paisam or dal that you eat together, and eat it with sabzi. Why? Because rice has a high glycemic load, and that can spike your blood sugar. So if you eat excess of it is when you can put on weight over a period of time. But eat lesser amount of rice, more dal, and add a lot of vegetables, and you should be fine, because then you're balancing the glycemic load, you're getting the fiber, and you're getting the goodness of the rice as well. And eat not like heaps and heaps of rice. That's not what your body needs. You need carbohydrates in moderation. What your body needs is more good quality proteins and fats. And when I say fats, I mean ghee, nuts, avocado, coconut oil. But in fat, you require lesser quantities because because of the nature of the macronutrient.
Any other questions from anybody? No questions?
Sir, can I?
Yes, go ahead. Vishnu.
Why does stress affect hair follicles?
So the thing is, stress has many harmful effects on the body, and it depends on your body's reaction or response that what it does. And one of the things is that your hair start to fall, but that's not only because of stress. It can be due to multiple external factors as well, where maybe the water is hard, maybe what you're using as a hair cleanser is not good for your hair, maybe you're not even eating properly. That can also cause hair fall, hair thinning. The quality of your hair can stop. So look at stress as it's not a direct effect. The stress causes different changes in the body, and that causes hair fall.
Anyone else having something around fitness role? Any tips to life, your career choice, any topic? If you want to have any question, you can have a question.
Sir, I.
Yes, go ahead, Shiv Shankari.
Ma'am, like we should not do workout on an empty stomach, no ma'am. Like after getting up, immediately we can't do exercise. We should have something, no ma'am. What can we eat immediately after eating this? We can do the workout.
You can eat any fruit. That's really good. You can also, because try not to eat a full blown breakfast just before your workout, because that will not help you to either perform better, and your body will also be very uncomfortable. But yeah, you can have fruits. You can even have nuts with some date. You can have anjeer with again some nuts. Those are some really good things to have just after you wake up. You can even have honey with hot water and lemon and some nuts along with that as well. You can have banana and peanuts. You can have apple and peanuts or any kind of nuts. Peanuts is not a nut, but it's you can still have it. It's a legume.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome.
Miss, for every sports, why they only check their fitness, ma'am?
Sorry.
Ma'am, for every sports, why all sports check fitness, ma'am? It is based on our talent, no, ma'am. Sports.
See, talent is one thing that you are gifted with, but you cannot just survive on talent. You have to hone that talent. That is when you can become ready for the competition. So when you are going into sports is competitive. That means even if you have a better talent, if you don't practice it, someone who has worked harder can outlast you. So remember, just because you have talent doesn't mean that you've cracked it. You have to put in the work. In fact, if you have talent and you work to improve your talents and skills, then there is no stopping you. And I think in my case, it was exactly that, is that I love working out, and my body is a type of body that can build strength very easily. My body is naturally slightly more resilient than other bodies, than on an average. But I have just worked to I've never thought that, oh, I have the talent and that's why I will not work out. I've always stayed consistent towards my movement practice, to my learning, because I enjoy it. So talent doesn't mean also that you might enjoy something. So find something that you enjoy, combine it with your talent. But yeah, that's why they measure your fitness.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome.
One more question, or probably two more questions, if you guys have.
Ma'am,
Yeah, go ahead, Vishnu.
is yoga different than exercise?
No, yoga is not different than exercise, but yoga is much more than exercise because there are 8 parts to yoga. You have yama, you have niyama, you have asana, you have dharana, pranayama, uh, pratyahara, dhyana. So yoga has lot of kriya as well. So yoga has different aspects that target and that work your body at multiple layers, not just your physical body. And exercise can be termed as something for the physical body generally, but yoga, when you do your pranayams, you're working on your energy body. When you're doing your kriyas, you're again working the chakras. So there are so, when you do your dhyana, you're working your mental wellness, so or your body's ability to connect with the physical body. So all of these are combined, and that's why I would not just categorize yoga as just an exercise. The asana part is the is the exercise part of yoga.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome.
Any more questions? Okay, if not, we can close the question session. Yeah, thank you, Urmi. Thanks for your
Welcome.
time. So we learned a lot along with the students as well on fitness.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. And yeah, we
Good
look
day,
forward
guys.
to
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Can we have a photo with everyone or the
Yes.
Zoom?
Yes, yeah, we can do that. Yes, can you all switch on the videos?
Yeah.
If
Also,
possible.
ma'am, sorry, but maybe
Yeah.
some tell what they took away from the session. If you
Yeah. Anyone of you want to talk about how the session was? What did you learn? Any feedback from your side?
Yes, Bhagya, you can go ahead.
Who wants to
Sir,
talk?
I like this.
Yeah.
I
Go
learned
ahead.
a lot of things which helped to me in the career, and my life service very benefit to me to be a good person, sir.
Okay, couldn't hear you fully well. Shiv Shankari, you have raised your hands.
Yes, sir. This session was very useful for me, sir, because I want to become a kabaddi player, so I need a very good
Wow.
fitness. So
Awesome. All the best.
Thank you, ma'am. So I need a very good fitness, and I also want to become more strengthened. So this session helped me a lot in going towards my goal.
Nice.
Welcome. Thank you. And all the best.
Thank you, ma'am.
Anybody else who wants to talk about the session? No? Yes.
Sir, happy for that this class, sir.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, all of you switch on your video. I'm going to take a screen.
Sir, I want to tell something.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Sir, it is more helpful to us, sir, because everyone have a goal in their life, no, sir. In everyone select which sports they want to play, and they will decide, no, sir, on based on their talent or a fitness. Sorry, sir, telling talent for a fitness, they will choose, no, sir. In
Right.
that way, I think it section will help us, sir.
Okay, great. Okay, cool. Yeah, switch on the video, guys. I don't see too many videos yet. Okay, this is the max. All ready? Can you smile? All of you? Okay, great. Fine. I've taken the snap.
Thank you guys. All the best.
Thank you very much, Urmi. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah, bye bye.
Have a good evening.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye bye.